Texas feels like they have had a really good group of linebackers each of the last 2 seasons. David Bendo went on to be a nice undrafted free agent pickup. Jalen Ford ended up getting drafted in the mid-rounds to the Saints, but I don't think we have seen a player to the caliber of Anthonyhill Jr. Anthony Hill is a player who I absolutely love for the 2026 draft class. An athletic freak with size and length for the position, today we will be going over what I think the NFL outlook is for Hill and going over why I view him as the top overall linebacker entering the college football season. If you guys enjoy these types of videos and want more NFL draft content just like this, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the pinned comment above where you guys will get full access to my draft guide, and be sure to comment down below which players you guys want to see me discuss in a future video. But without further ado, let's take a closer look at Anthony Hill Jr. Anthony Hill was a very heavily recruited player coming out of high school. He was a 5-star recruit in his class and was ranked as the number 17 player nationally. He initially had committed to Texas A&M, but ended up flipping his commitment to the Longhorns, and has been incredibly productive in each of his first 2 seasons in Austin. As a true freshman, Hill played in nearly 550 snaps, posting 51 tackles, 33 run stops, 19 pressures, and 4 sacks on the year for the Longhorns. He was awesome as a true freshman, and he followed that up with an even better season in 2024. Where he played in 867 snaps and had 73 tackles, 44 run stops, 23 pressures, and 6 sacks on the year. He was a versatile chess piece for this defensive scheme, and a guy who I think is a very versatile skill set at the NFL level. The first thing that I really love about Anthony Hill are the athletic traits that he brings to the position. There are so many things that he does from an athletic standpoint that I think NFL teams are going to salivate at come draft night. For one thing, I think Hill has prototypical NFL size for a modern weak side linebacker. He is 6'3", 237 pounds, but on top of that, I think he should have around 33.5-inch arms for the position as well. I think he has the type of frame to continue to add mass, continue to bulk up and get stronger, and he checks the size box. But the thing I love most about him is the speed and movement skills that he brings. Hill is a very quick linebacker with elite change of directions, and while we don't have confirmed speed measurements, I think that he could run somewhere in the low 4.4s to the high 4.5s, which absolutely will get him drafted highly in the NFL draft. He explodes off the ball, and he made some really nice plays at blowing up screens and making massive plays in the backfield. I think from a traits and athleticism perspective, he is everything that you are looking for, and I think that alone will get him into the top 50 discussions. One thing Texas did a really good job at were finding ways to dial Hill up as a blitzing threat, and I think he showed some really good tools there. He has 42 pressures and 10 sacks throughout his collegiate career thus far, and with his athleticism, I think he has consistently shown the ability to trigger quickly and explode into the backfield to create pressure on the quarterback. Many people have questioned if he could potentially transition to edge at the NFL level, because I do think he brings some pretty high upside as a pass rusher, and from what we've seen in a blitzing role, I don't think I would be totally opposed to that move whatsoever. While the move to edge would be enticing, I don't think it's what he should do, because I do think he does some pretty good off-ball linebacker things that make him really enticing, particularly in coverage. While I don't know that I view him as a great coverage player just yet, there are certainly some really good moments in there on tape. I thought in zone coverage, he did a really good job of reading the quarterback's eyes, watching plays develop. He was a smart and consistent zone defender who I was pretty impressed by, but I also think that given his athleticism, he showed the ability to do some damage when matched up in one-on-one coverage against running backs or tight ends. There really wasn't much of a speed disparity there, and he showed the ability to match up with guys down the field. The coverage has been up and down in his career, and he doesn't have a ton of ball production, but I definitely think that he has shown enough good at that spot to make an impact in the league. Where I am most concerned with Anthony Hill is as a run defender. While he has graded out pretty well in that area, to me there are still a few little things that he needs to get cleaned up if he is going to be a consistent downhill presence in the run game. I think he reads run plays pretty well. Hill has a strong football IQ, and I thought he recognized blocking schemes and had the quickness to trigger into the backfield, but I think his tackling needs to get better. He missed nearly 16% of his tackles in the 2024 season and has a career missed tackle percentage of around 13%. I want to see him be a better and more reliable tackler in the backfield, but I felt like there were so many instances where he would overshoot a rushing lane or have a bad whiff, and I just don't think that's going to slide at the next level. I want to see him play more discipline in the run game and just be a more disciplined overall downhill presence. The other areas where I do have some questions is going to be his block shedding ability. There are far too many instances where Hill gets stuck on a block and he is unable to make the impact play that he should be able to make. Too many times, I felt like Hill would get overly reliant on his athleticism, and he lacks a really great stack and shed technique in his game at this point. While he is still young and he has room to develop, I need to see him improve on that area in the 2025 season, and if he can do that, I think he could be considered a top 20 player in this draft. Even with the concerns, Anthony Hill is the type of linebacker I like to bet on. A young, hyper athlete with great production. He has shown the ability to be a dominant downhill presence while also showing some nice pass rushing potential, and I think he brings some nice moments in coverage as well. There are so many things to absolutely love in his game, and I think the positives way outweigh the negatives, and he is my number one linebacker entering the year. He's not a perfect prospect, but I think if he can improve on the few areas, this is a guy that is going to be a really high draft pick come April. In terms of a scheme fit, I think Hill would work best as a weak side linebacker right now. I think in a perfect world, Hill can be your downhill thumper. With his athleticism and his ability to snuff out screens, be used as a blitzer, and just work around the weak side of the line of scrimmage, I think he could be a really good player at the NFL level. I don't necessarily think he is a guy with the lack of the ability to shed blocks that's going to be viewed as a Sam linebacker, but in that weak side mold, I could see him being a really good player right out of the gate. My player comparison for Anthony Hill is Green Bay Packers linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. I was a big fan of Cooper's when he was coming out of A&M, and I see a lot of the same similarities in Hill. Both have nearly identical measurements, but are incredibly dynamic athletes with quickness and sideline to sideline speed. Both made great plays in the screen game and were overall really solid coverage defenders. While I think Hill has a higher ceiling, Cooper showed almost immediately in his rookie year in Green Bay that he has the potential to be a top 5 linebacker in this sport. I think Anthony Hill has very similar traits and could have a very similar role at the next level. Anthony Hill is an athletic freak. He is a player that has incredible movement abilities, he has great pass rushing potential, and has even shown the ability to make impact plays in coverage. I'm a big fan of his game, and ultimately, I believe that Anthony Hill Jr. will be a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.